would constantly try and rejoin adult oryx. Well, Cavaignac would allow it to go a certain distance away, but as soon as it started to move off with the oryx, she was then up on the warpath. And of course the other oryx saw this lioness coming for them and would flee. And the baby ran as much as it could, and then it just got exhausted and stopped, and she took it back again.
What would drive a predator to defy her instincts and endanger her own life?
We were just so flummoxed by this odd pairing of Cavaignac and the oryx that I wrote to a lot of people. I wrote to all of the lion experts I could think of to try and get some kind of balanced view about what was happening.
One of those experts was Craig Packer of the Serengeti Lion Project. By email, Sarah shared with him the story of Cavaignac.
If she'd only recently separated, which is the way it sounds in the story, she still would be kind of reeling from the experience and no longer having the companionship for the rest of her pride.
What we think happened was that she actually went through quite a traumatic loss, very sudden traumatic loss, and this clicked a switch in her head that just sparked this obsessive compulsive behavior, so that when she came across this baby oryx, instead of seeing food, she saw baby.
The problem with being a solitary lion is that you are all by yourself in a world surrounded by groups of lions, and they're going to kill you. So if by misfortune a female ends up all on her own, she lives a life of utter terror, because she has to figure out how she's going to get from A to B without being spotted, how she's going to feed herself without being discovered in a vulnerable situation by her neighbors. I think that in her state of mind, she's likely to be very frightened and very nervous, and I think that she found something that distracted and soothed her.
Days became weeks. Cavaignac displayed little in the way of predatory tendencies towards the calf, and the pair showed no sign of separating.
That we were so caught up in the bubble of this miracle that none of us really thought about the most obvious thing, which was that other predators would be lurking around and make a meal of the calf if they got the chance. We followed Cavaignac and the oryx down to the river, and we were really pleased to see them going there because it was the first time that they'd drunk in several days. But of course a river is an absolute haven for predators. It's where they lie in wait to ambush prey, and even if you have a lioness as a protector, it's no guarantee that you're safe. So when Cavaignac moved back up onto the bank and flopped down in the shade, she let the calf wander out of her sight for a few seconds. And in that instant, this huge male lion leapt out of the bushes and grabbed it. She was clearly terrified of the male lion, but she acted exactly as if she was a mother losing her cub. She couldn't leave the scene, and it was almost like this anguish that you could feel in her, desperate to try and save the calf, but unable to take on an adult male lion. When the oryx eventually died, the next day she went out immediately and she killed an impala and fed herself. So she was totally functional in terms of being a predator. It's just that she didn't equate food with the baby oryx.
But her